Hey everybody, hello! Oh my god, for the first time in like a week, your camera actually stayed when I swapped scenes. I was actually like habitually reaching for the add camera button as we swapped the scene. But yay, it's working and that's what matters. Now guys, I had to mess with some more sound stuff and I'm concerned I might be too loud. In fact, I'm definitely gonna be a bit. Turn that down a smidge. If I am too loud, please let me know. I can adjust my volume down. I put myself too loud on purpose so that I wouldn't have to worry about trying to raise myself up during the broadcast today.
I think that already sounds better.
Oh, okay, good. Anyways, a couple of cool things to show off and play with and do, but the first and foremost is that we are here for the the wildcard qualifiers for the Gameland Invitational. So we have about 19 or so folks checked in. Looks like the brackets are finalizing as we speak. Got Jason coming out for another run today.
Yeah. Oh. What are you thinking? Looking at B-Lord versus Jason.
That one doesn't look too bad, but hold on, the bracket might actually be final. Give it one sec here.
Okay.
Oh, Drunken Boy's on the list. I know we had talked about him as being a possible contender for a North American spot, but this looks like mostly North American players.
Oh.
I don't. Aside from B-Lord, are there any not North Americans on here?
Not that I recognize. I think Hades is. Actually, I never got if he was European or not.
Okay, brackets actually finalized, and that did swap things around. So Jason's playing against BioIce now. No Regret plays somebody named Invasion. You know, No Regret after your showing last time is maybe one of the contenders for this. You got really far in the double elim in the North American bracket.
I think so. I have no idea who Invasion is, and they were silver last year.
Ah. Well, No Regret might be up for a challenge then. I think it'd be nice to either see Caliber, Drunken Boy, or BioIce, I guess. Those three matches. I'll leave you to pick which one.
I think BioIce was Jason's going to be the closest we got in this first round. and
right.
fun. Although Boner versus Hades might be fun too. Actually, I'm going to go Slayer's Boner and Hades.
Bonerino. Of course, for those who don't know, that is Caliber. It's funny, I guess him and Fake Avila were fighting for the WCS stream. Did you see this?
No.
So they had to make a quick swap on the in-game overlay because basically they go into the game and it says like Slayer's Boner versus Avila, and it's a fake Avila. So you're like, okay, that's trouble. So they changed it on the fly, which I thought was really good, really smart. But Mr. Boris kicks off our broadcast today with a resub for 35 months to be precise. It says, can't believe it's almost been 3 years. Holy my god.
It's not even the longest.
No, not even. Also, update, because someone had asked about this on my stream, and I'd answer there. The emotes we submitted for BaseTradeTV are still pending, guys. We don't have like a magic wand that we can wave and they just like become approved. And for whatever reason, I guess a lot of people are having their emotes delayed, but I saw Fear Dragon tweet that his were made available today. Which is annoying, because mine that I submitted on my channel were submitted a week and a half ago. So I don't know when he submitted his, but it's like, at some point, our new emotes with the chicken and the ketchup will get approved, but I don't know when yet.
It's a mystery.
Anyways, do us a favor, guys. Get up on Twitter, hit that retweet button, share about the brackets going live and the show starting up, as there shouldn't really be complications or delays, as far as I can tell. Of course, as I say that, I should knock on some wood. Yeah, so we're doing, you said Jason first? Is that it?
No, I changed my mind to
Oh,
Caliber
right,
versus
Boner.
Hades.
Yeah, Caliber versus, okay. Let's gonna have to title the stream was all.
He's here? Did he change his name?
Maybe I'll wait to update the title of the stream.
Yeah. Maybe you should. Yeah, I don't see him. I think someone says Jason too.
Well, we can always grab another match if we need to. There's plenty available. Hades is apparently from the Ukraine, according to Dares.
There we go. I thought he was European.
Well, actually, hang on. That brings up a question because Hades, are you aware about visa regarding competing in this tournament? So one of the big problems we have and a big stipulation with this, guys, is there are visa restrictions. This is why, for example, China, Taiwan, and Korea and such are not eligible to play in this. It's not because we don't want the best players and we don't want to exclude anybody, but they literally cannot get a visa in time. Like if they went today, it would take a full month to apply and process a visa, so they wouldn't actually be able to come to the tournament and play. The concern is I don't know how it works for Europe because I don't have a lot of friends who like live in Ukraine or have discussed it with people who live in, I don't know, Italy or something. I don't know the process and the limitations, and we've put this so many times over the brackets, over the tournament, over everything. It's on the players to find out. If they don't know whether they can get a visa in time, then they should not compete for this.
Right. But Hades is here, so that means that Caliber and him should be getting going. And BioAce actually isn't here anyways, so typical.
Oh, there you. I said no delays. I shouldn't have said it.
Man, I just heard like music. I guess it's just the TV. I'm going crazy.
Sue didn't understand about limitations. He doesn't understand why he can't play today, and I feel really bad because I would love for Sue to play.
Right?
Yeah, and for those who, I guess, will obviously want to bring it up and ask, then if Korea's not eligible, why are Keen, Zest, and Lee not coming? And it's because we had sorted this out plenty ahead of time with them. It was like a privately done invite before things ever started. So unfortunately, again, for folks like Sue, there's no guarantee they can get a visa in time. And unfortunately, that's one of the biggest concerns of the organizers is they are working, like you guys will notice in the tournament thread, there's not a lot of sponsors listed. Zombie Grub and I know who they're going to be, and they're kind of a big deal, and we can't afford to have no shows for this event. Like you pay the $1,000 for the flight, you pay the $1,500 for hotels or whatever, right? Because however much, I'm guessing here, wouldn't be that much. But the point is, you pay all this money out to get the players there, and then the day before they don't show up, you can't refund that money. You can't get the tickets back. The sponsors are missing a player from their event. Like, there's so many things that go wrong with it. So when they talk to us about these like specific requirements, I totally understand. It sucks, and it's the limitations of what we have to work around. But just so everyone is fully aware, North by Northeast are the main organizers for this. We're working, I guess, for them, is how I phrase it. Also, people are saying that the bot is offline, so I'm going to go fix that really quick. It just probably needs a quick restart.
Okay. Well, everyone showed up eventually. And I guess Hades changed his name, so there was a confusion. We are casting Hades, aka R. Awers versus Caliber.
Hot dog.
What? Sounds like you said either shut up or ta-ta.
I said hot dog.
Hot stuff.
Hot dog. Woof.
I actually heard you say hot dog.
I hate you. Okay, so the bot should be online now. For those who don't know why I have to run it in another room, it's because it is already so hot in here with all the equipment I have running. If I have my laptop in here, it would just make it worse. So it's like that little... It doesn't make it or break it, but it's the peace of mind of it being in the other room, not generating heat in here. My building actually has really, really good AC. The problem is, there was a power outage 2 days ago from this intense windstorm. I don't know if anyone saw it. I tweeted, I fucking could not walk in this windstorm, okay? I'm a big guy, and I'm a strong dude, and I could not physically move forward. I had to hold my roommate because she was actually getting blown away by this wind. It was insane. So that knocked the power out of our building, and I think it's screwed with the AC. I don't know. It sucks, though. It's been really hot these last couple days.
It does suck. There's some strong winds.
Yeah, Vancouver apparently near the coast was getting close to 90 kilometers an hour. Where I was, we got about 60 or something. I think it was our peak. I'm guessing we were walking home in about 45 or 50. I don't know. It was crazy. I've never experienced wind like that before.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of like when it was like in snow in Toronto, there was that really strong wind that like it actually made it like almost impossible for me to carry around my luggage, my carry-on with a stroller. But even that wasn't as much as you're saying. The maps are finally done. Proxima first.
Well, let me join a few, and then we'll get these shout-outs out of the way. Thank you very much to Willander for the 17-month resub. And Bales gave us $4.99. I'm not sure why he's flushing that down the toilet, though. He says, let me play, hashtag free Bales. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, dude, so have a good night, and thanks for the free money. We appreciate it. Enjoy access to the replay packs and the sub-emotes that you have for the next month, though.
Backups. But by now it was understood. Silly Caliber. Oh, Caliber.
Oh, did he try hosting? What a silly goose. Yo, so I got this Elgato Stream Deck. I don't know, have you seen other people tweeting and using it on their stream and stuff? I've
seen people tweeting about it.
Okay, so mine's not fully set up, but I set up the only important one on it so far. And this thing's actually pretty sweet. The downside for me, though, is this is something made for OBS. It does not have XSplit support just yet. So I am limited in what I can do with it, but we're ready whenever they are. However, one thing I can do is play the Metal Gear Solid, because this game inspired off of the Carbots mod. Like, the alert sound whenever, like, someone's proxy gets scouted. So here's an example, guys. I don't even have to tab out of the game or anything. It's really cool. So it's kind of like this really customized little soundboard. I can also customize it to post messages on chat, on Twitter, to put in sub mode, or slow mode, stuff like that. It's really cool, actually. All these options now available, but I got to think of cool things to do with it.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. I'm sure it'll be plenty fun.
Well, Caliber is he's a skilled player, to say the least. I always find it funny, though, because I feel like he's the most laid-back good player, if that makes sense. Like, I guess to phrase it, like, I'm not sure if he's a casual player who's really, really, really good, or if he's a pro player who's really, really casual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's a pretty interesting way to put it.
So I'll definitely be interested to see how he goes. If you guys have not been keeping up with the WCS stuff, I know I haven't for the most part, but it is worth noting Caliber was competing for Challenger League for a bit, so it's not like he's the bottom of the ladder, barely scraping by with that Grandmaster portrait. But spawning here on the bottom left side of the map, we've got the yellow Terran player. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Awers.
In the top right is the pink Zerg. He is Caliber. Slayer's boner.
A little bit of a doge in chat. All right, so as stated, Caliber will be a really interesting watch for this. I think he's one of the guys who has the potential to get towards the end of the tournament today and maybe even take it. But it's that question of, like, will he? Because there are some other really good players competing today. Ours has competed already so far, and his name's been coming up and made me go like WTF, so the Hades thing that was confusing makes a little bit more sense. And we'll see how he handles himself today. Again, reminder, though, that this is the wildcard qualifier number 2. The number 1 qualifier has officially been rescheduled till Sunday, so this coming Sunday. A big part of this was me just pulling some of the players and a lot saying, look, I want to play, but with the WCS Challenger stuff wrapping up, we still don't know if we're going to Jönköping or not, so leave it available and we'll try and play. I don't know whether they'll actually show up and try and play, but accommodating them the best we can. Sunday, the 28th, I think it is? Whatever this coming Sunday is going to be the last and final qualifier.
Yeah.
And that will, of course, be another wildcard qualifier, too.
Well, surprised to see that Caliber is playing Zerk. He did say that's what he was going to play when I was asked him what the race was, but I actually thought I was going to play Protoss and Cannon Rush. He was Protoss in the lobby and then changed at the last second. Womp womp. It's not as fun as Zerg.
Also, apparently my voice is still a little bit loud, so I'm turning it down and hoping this is okay. My concern is, of course, that we go too low and then you can't hear me at all, so we'll find that nice mixed balance across the broadcast. But you guys will just have to keep me up to date as we go through the show today, because it sounded fine before we went live, and then I noticed, whatever reason, after we went live, it started peaking in the red. So, magical question marks?
Yeah. It sucks too, 'cause I don't know if it's what you did or just coincidental, but it's getting like a little robot-y on Discord. Not so much that I can't understand you, but it's like, aw, I was working for like 48 hours.
Oh, like robot-y like it was doing before, or what?
No, what it does on Skype is literally just go in and out, but...
No, but I mean, like, when I... Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's fine now. In fact, it got better as you turned it down, as you said you were turning it down. But, yeah, I don't know if it'll appear again. As I said, it's not as bad as Skype's, like, just literally not even being able to hear anything.
Okay, well, like I said, we'll be playing self-adjustment games as the tournament goes on today, I suppose.
No. Well, that Reaper is being quite bold and is getting a full scouts behind that mineral line. I mean, it has to die. It's Proxima. And it did. It did. But it did get a full scout. That's nice. Looks like Caliber intentionally waited. Or just coincidentally waited. So, actually a 2-base layer, which Awers might not expect. And Awers was playing a lot of mech versus Terran. The time we got to cast him, I wonder if he does the same thing versus Zerg.
I would like to see it. It's worth noting that the patch is live too, something that wasn't the case last time we were streaming qualifiers. So for those who are unaware, there has been some minor changes. Not so much that I feel it affects this matchup, but it's worth noting if you were going mech, you'd have that extra armor on Thors.
Yeah, I was going to say the Thors, you know, and a lot of Terrans were... Oh, nice scan. A lot of Terrans were starting to add in, just like Heart of the Swarm, like a fast second factory for Thors and Drilling Claws. So that does affect them a little bit too, but of course their emphasis would be on the Thors, like mech can be. But a Hellion drop, first of all. It is an armory on the way, so these could turn into Hellbats when they drop out, but there's no Marines accompanying this. Just the Hellions, and even Queens could deal with it. Like, Caliber's doing something really weird. Not just a 2-base Spire, but like a macro hatchery in the main, and then right into an infestation pit.
I'm gonna put my hands together and pray for Swarm Host. Maybe he knows Ours is a mech player? I don't know. Like the Spire, Mutas and Swarm Hosts are two great things to shut down mech players when it's early on. And yeah, with vehicle weapon upgrades on the way and no stim anywhere close to started, that looks to be the direction we're going.
Yeah. I mean, if Caliber wants to like try and match this guy, like he's actually played against him, then that's fantastic. And Swarm Host could be the way to go after controlling with Mutas, but 7 Hellbats is quite a lot. Certainly more than 4 that, you know, be dumped and then turn into Hellbats. So these Queen's gonna have a tough time.
I like that pickup micro coming out of the Hellbat. That's actually pretty nice, but unfortunately, with the Queens being what they are, it's easy to push that medevac back. Now, Lings coming in small bits at a time are kind of necessary. Oh, he's misclicked on the building plates. I don't know that I've seen that be an issue for years at this point.
It usually isn't. Distraction tactic, though, is the Liberator gets in the main, or the natural. Not too shabby with 4 kills, but already really, really low on health. And Caliber actually dealt very well with the Hellbats. I mean, they were so plentiful, it looked a little sketchy, but just with 4 Queens and a handful of Lings.
Oh. Well, not bad with that Liberator. Got quite a bit done, and even took a Queen out with it on the way. Now, I don't know whether that infestation pit was legitimately going to be for Swarm Host at any point this game. Maybe it will be still. I do like the choice to go Mutas upon realizing what's going on, though. Liberators, even with upgrades, which they're not going to have, are garbage anti-air. They're not going to cut it. Vikings would actually be better in a lot of situations, but as you'll notice, there are a bunch of these turrets coming down in a bit of funny spaces around the production and as well mineral lines, because the biggest weakness to any player play mech, you don't have sufficient anti-air early on, and it's really expensive to get sufficient anti-air, period.
Yeah. And with the way he opened, of course, there wasn't any access to even one Thor. Just now getting a factory and a tech lab. So Liberators has to be the way to go. And Liberators can deal with low amounts of Mutas, especially if they're in counts of 3 or above. Basically, if the Mutas get more than like 20, like Liberators are still kind of useless.
You know, for those who were watching Nate's stream earlier today, we were in the unit tester testing some of the Thor armor changes, what it affects, what it doesn't affect, namely versus Protoss. But it occurs to me that armor buff is going to really help against things like glaive worms and the bounces from them. Like, Thor's are already pretty good against mutas, but they can get magic boxed on. Maybe that extra armor makes it so it's not so bad.
That is certainly true. I mean, I think, obviously, it's no matter what you look at it, it's going to be a buff. Like, Thor was buffed, but it's just such a peculiar unit and only very particular situations. It'd be interesting to see where it actually, like, is like, oh, that only lived because it had 2 armor. Or like, wow, those lings really don't do as much damage as they did before. Something along those lines. But Caliber really is getting quite a bit of everything. I mean, I still don't know about the third base as the macro hatch first. It seemed very odd, but he now has a third base and plenty of larvae. But he went for the infestation pit. He's going for fungal, growth, I guess. He's going for Hydralisk. I thought he was going to go to Swarm Host. Both did, and I think that would have been a better choice than fungals. I'm really not so sure about the investment in infestors. Well, it's
a lot of static defense. Liberators can't shoot.
That's true. It's certainly a point against the Liberators, but you don't usually see this type of wall. But you needed at the time. Production was only just getting ramped up.
I mean, the thing is, Thors have kind of been these joke units. Nobody really used them in a lot of situations for a very long time, but they will tear down buildings very quickly. 33 damage times 2 a shot. Who cares about that building armor on the spine crawlers? They're going to fall apart real quick. Of course, they're going to still have that zoning capability to keep the mutas at bay, but ooh, I like this. We do have Neural Parasite on the way. He does have pathogen. He does have pathogen glands. Okay, I wasn't sure if that finished yet.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so the Neural Parasite makes a little bit more sense, but even then, I think it's going to be very difficult to pull off. Like, I really think that if Caliber had, not saying damage from a Liberator, but played a really good macro game, got the mutas to harass a little bit, and then went into Swarm Host, I think you'd just be piling on the pressure. As it is, the mutas did a very tiny amount of damage, and now ours, the mech player, is the one that's kind of controlling the space on Proxima, with Caliber just having a very poor supply counts. I mean, his drones are okay, but he's on 3 bases instead of 4 or 5, actually, because ours is already on his way to a 4th. It's not going to be the overwhelming amounts of units like Zerg usually should have versus the mech player. It's going to be a couple of infestors that really need some great neural parasites. I say a couple, it's 7, but we'll see how much they can really do.
Well, I like the addition of the Swarm Host. We'll see that come into play in a bit, but the Liberators aside, I mean, the Thors wreck the mutas, so there's no threat for the anti-air here. Blue Flame traded out decently with the Hydralisk, but unfortunately there's no more Hellions really left to be that buffer. So Vikings on the ground, Liberators in the sky, and Swarm Host on deck. I think this favors Caliber in a lot of different ways. But it is worth noting, he's kind of stuck on 3 bases through all of this, and he's making very expensive units with long cooldowns. Meanwhile, our Terran player is expanding.
Yep. Definitely heard an Parasite good on somewhere.
It was Thor on the front line for a second, and then it got liberated pretty quick.
Yeah, that's certainly a problem. Yeah, it looks like Caliber is not going to get maybe broken, but just the fact that he is only on 3 bases and just kept in his own little hole is pretty bad.
So he's throwing out infested Terrans 1 or 2 at a time, and I like that move to soak the Liberator shots, but he didn't have any follow-up with it. Nothing moved in. Yeah. He just gave away free energy, which he would so desperately otherwise need. This is the loss of the 3rd, and that's pretty bad. Coming up, the ramp's going to be a lot more difficult for ours, but that being said, just containing on 2 bases could still result in a victory.
Right. I think it will. Ours is really running away with this game. Again, I feel like if Caliber hadn't, and even, I'm not going to disregard the Liberator damage, because it was so little. If he had gone for 3rd base and really, did a bit more controlling with those mutas, because he kind of backed up really quickly, then maybe there's a really good game here with the Swarm Host and the Spire choices that he made so quickly. But he really got a lot off of a little, and you can see here only in the last minute has really reaped the rewards with the Swarm Host finally coming out. But they're, way too late, and they're not really working. They might work. I mean, Slayer's Boner's up 20 army supply. Yeah. And ours has to be very careful.
My concern though is ours has continued to expand a lot behind this, so his income should be there. The thing I think is a little bit odd though is seeing the Raven investment behind this. So Ravens also were changed in the patch, and you'll see an effect through here. Auto turrets had their damage taken down and their duration increased. The thing is though, I still think Swarm House are going to be better in just generally most scenarios. Locust will get killed pretty quick by the blue flame, which is nice. He hasn't been using them all. I do like that Caliber has been consistently staggering his Swarm hosts, so not a lot of, I guess, wasted opportunities through this massive cooldown. What is it, like 45 seconds per launch?
That's a long time.
Yeah, 43 seconds. There you go.
Yeah. And now Caliber really has a very scary army. As I said, it took him too long to do so. And, you know, he's going to be only one base mining with his mana natural taken out here. Ours has invested so much into expansions. That's the reason he's never been maxed out in this game. He's actually been keeping his mineral count very low, just by building command centers.
The downside is that they're all planetaries, which is nice for easy mode defense, but it does mean he's only sitting on like 3 orbitals, now making us 4th. So, not a lot of scans, not a lot of mules.
Well, I don't think he needs mules.
Scans for sure, though.
Yeah, scans, and he has been using them, of course, to take out those infestors that are burrowed. But the point is, like, he would have to get his army broken, and then he'd have to, like, lose all of his expansions to swarm hosts, which, even if they tried their fastest, would take, obviously, like, 2 or 3 minutes because of their cooldown to actually kill all the bases. And then we can start talking about ours being in trouble.
Point defense is kind of nice. No neural parasites coming down just yet, though. Ravens and scans detecting everything keeps them back. The point defense is a really interesting choice here. It can help nullify some of the damage, but there's just so many locusts and queens and just ranged units firing. It doesn't have that much that it's going to absorb.
So this is really his last mining base.
Yeah, I think it, like as good as Caliber's army may have been, and as good as that pushback looked, the fact is ours wasn't rallying because he was getting to that next level of tech. He was getting things like a lot of ravens and a lot of bases. Now that he has those, it's just going to be a constant rally to the front lines, and I don't know that Caliber can ever take a third.
Maybe. Storm hosts are pretty good.
Point defense turns come down. Blue flame will clean up the locust in the meantime. Pushing back to that ramp, and he's actually stuck at the bottom of his own ramp as creep starts running out. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was most of the swarm hosts. It's only a couple of them falling off of cooldown now, with 7 more on the way. So maybe ours can finally actually push forward. No, he's going to retreat, because I don't want to deal with the cooldown. I guess eventually, Caliber is the one that's going to have to push out and get under base, and that's when maybe a swarm host would be the most vulnerable.
For folks asking, Caliber is not currently playing random. He did pick Zerg, but he's known to have played random for a majority of his career.
Yeah. He's a pretty funny guy to watch.
It's also really tall. Can we talk about that?
Ooh.
Oh, damn, the cold Ukrainian shoulder.
If this was a group style show match, I'd be like, oh, it's a little harsh. But considering that's a double elimination and this guy's European, I am on his side. It is 3 a.m. in a double elimination tournament when only one gets out. Like, tell the guy to fuck off.
Oh, man.
Like, stop wasting time.
Let's make it a solar flare. BM. Locust is going to try and break the army. It'll get some good damage, but it won't kill ours. And even what it does kill, he can replace. We have recalibrated explosives on the way. This is going to have a cool upgrade. It does give the Ravens 30% extra damage on their Seeker missiles, but more importantly, 30% extra range. So, Swarm Hosts are really fast, annoying, and hard to catch units for a mech player, because you don't have stim, you don't have slows from concussive shells, but you latch on a Seeker missile, and I'm pretty sure you'll secure that hit. You are muted. I feel like you reversed this. I heard you for a moment, and then you stopped. Maybe your mic needs fixing. I don't know. I'll just cast until we can hear Zambria again, guys. Not that there's really a lot to report in on, because the thing is, he's doing everything right. He's not committing. He's been denying a third. Caliber is literally long distance mining because he's out of money everywhere else. It's his only option at the moment. And it's with 49 drones, so it's not that good.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, welcome back.
Okay, yeah, that was just the mic, I guess.
Good times.
Yeah, I don't know.
Blue Flame is so good against Locust. You get that point defense turned down to make sure the Hellbats don't die, and they will clean these up every single time. Now, it's worth noting, generally speaking, Swarm Hosts are actually much better against mech, and that's because they come accompanied with more than just other Swarm Hosts. Like any composition in StarCraft 2, if you only have one type of unit, it's usually not going to work too well. Fungals just barely missed those Ravens, by the way.
I was gonna say there would be a lot of money in the drain, but ours could be able to replace it.
Well, looking like he knows what he's doing. He's pushing out that ram finally. Gets up here with some of the Thors. All those Locusts are still waiting to be reborn on the backs of the Swarm Hosts. the civilization successful always sounds so weird, but still going down. And this looks like it's finally going to be the end of Caliber. Last wave of Locusts just went out. That was all the Swarm Hosts. That wasn't a staggered amount. New Ravens come to the front lines as well. And it's just a matter of pushing in for the win.
Yep.
I did like the attempt at the draw, though. It's like, what? It's like, what if that guy actually accepted?
Of course, why would he ever? Yeah. GG.
I like the burrow there at the end too, but GG's get called, and ours will take game number 1 in this best of 3.
To be honest, I kind of forget that Swarm Host can even burrow. Obviously, every Zerg can do that, but they're seen running around so much.
Well, this is weird because, of course, it used to be a required mechanic. So for me, I always kind of forget that they don't have to burrow. I'm like the opposite of that.
No.
Let's see here. So the winner of this series goes on to fight against Drunken Boy, which we kind of need to see. Topside Jason did defeat BioIce 2-0. Ooh. No Regret beats his opponent. Not too shocking down there. He'll be playing most likely as ZvZ versus B-Lord. As more games come up and get ready to go in that round of 8.
Cool.
But of course, we're still in the round of 16. Trying to cast these to move on. And next map is going to be on Abyssal Reef. So go under the sea for this next one. 47 gets a shout out for the Abyssal Reef intro Easter egg.
I was waiting for the ready. Go. Gotta be in a hurry. Gotta go fast. Oh, you Zerg again.
So definitely picking and not randoming. So there you go. There's your question, guys.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping to see some cannon rushes, though.
I know, right? Like, fingers always crossed when you get, like, certain players in a game that they'll play a very particular way.
Mm-hmm.
But he's currently down 1 in the series on the clan 420. And top left side of the map, we got the pink Zerg player, Slayer's Boner, but better known to everybody as Caliber.
The bottom right is the yellow Terran. He is ours. Odd name.
Opposite of yours. I can't do this because every time I read it, I see oppers. Like, too much Counter-Strike for me, I guess.
What are you talking about?
Oh, AWP ops, sniper rifle. No ops, no oppers.
Gotcha. All right, sure. I know. I've heard some CS:GO things.
I know sports.
Yeah. Yeah, you throw the frag and then you exchange guns or something.
Spin around 360, shoot a guy without zooming in. Yeah. End up on MLG. Nailed it.
Yep, I know games. I did watch the really hype tournament that happened in like January, I want to say, because everyone was tweeting about it. The one that like had the most viewers on Twitch at one time ever or something like that.
It peaked at like 1 million.
Yeah, I watched that.
Crazy.
So I heard some things, but there's more important things going on here. So Caliber playing a kind of a macro game. Last game we went 2-base lair, but this game going right for that Roach Warren, which ours would want to scout. And looks like he'll be able to. That delayed good luck, have fun though. Always a sign of a cheeser. In my opinion. It's risky. That is an SCV scout, which is scouted no hatchery. it's cancels, just straight up cancel the commander. It's unfortunate though that SCV hadn't been there 5 seconds earlier, and then it would have at least had it on the high ground already. The J goes for the factory, and the Reaper's job is really to throw down a couple of grenades, and then I guess it could just circumvent and try and kill drones, but it'd be better off actually just coming back home and being a little bit extra DPS.
I mean, anything to buy time for the roaches is just as valuable as having the actual defense back at home. Because, of course, the big thing isn't the roaches. 3 roaches is not very scary. It's about the Ravagers. So you keep them busy in the middle of the map. They're chasing you. Maybe for like even just a few seconds he forgets to morph one into a Ravager. You've bought yourself a lot of valuable time. Because, of course, Corrosive Bile is what makes this a real pain. But the bunker at the top of the ramp, like, I mean, this should be good enough as is. Putting down a second one for good measure, and with that tech lab on the way, I can't imagine this gets too bad for ours.
I don't think so. I think he is playing a little bit risky by going for the tech lab instead of just straight to a Cyclone. But this isn't like a fully committed version. It is just the 3 Ravagers. So he uses supply depots, he salvages the bunkers, and then that's basically it. I mean, Caliber already got a cancel on a command center, changed the build up a lot. You can't really be aggressive with tanks. So he can have this, like, okay macro follow-up.
Huh.
Yeah, he's not going to get a lot of units.
So I'm a little bit interested here in his choice to not defend the first depot. It's not like he's in super danger of being ultra mega supply blocked. I mean, he's building depots at the back, and he can drop supply in a pinch, but didn't even make an effort to repair that first one. Also, ooh, I don't like sieging the tank up, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little bit dangerous with the 2 bunkers providing that extra bit of reason not to try and snipe the tank.
That's true.
Yeah, even if he lost it, the 3 Ravagers would have died. I mean, it's always scary for the Terran player because you don't know if they're following up with more roaches or drones in this case. But he did choose correctly.
Yeah, it's an interesting follow-up here, by the way, of double expansions out of Caliber. Normally this is so committed to an all-in, but we've seen many times if a Terran player defends it and you continue to all-in, you will usually lose the game. So kind of just taking a left field, so you know what, if I continue down that dedicated path, it for sure wouldn't work out, so maybe this can work out.
I'm actually feeling even maybe like kind of good for Caliber. The Banshee has potential, of course, with Cloak and no Lair, but if he gets a couple extra Queens and a Spore Crawler in the mineral lines and in any forward position that he would be, then I think he actually has a very strong macro game, as I was saying, because ours had to cancel the command center and has very like non-aggressive units. Like the tanks really can't go forward here, even if they had 6 Marines to accompany them. That's too little. Whereas Cyclones could go forward and at least threaten something. Tanks can't. So he really is depending on these Banshees.
Oh, so by the way, thank you kindly for that new sub coming from Spectrum MC or Spectrum C. No, I'm still saying that wrong. Spectrusum.
Spectrus MC.
Well, sorry that we can't say your name right, but thank you for the sub. And he hearts you, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, ours is pulling.
Heart.
He's pulling some boys.
Okay, so if Caliber had eyes on this, then I would really not like it. I talked about 6 Marines accompanying this. I don't think 8 SCVs is any better. I think if he just made units, this would actually die. But Caliber at least maybe saw it with an Overlord, or maybe I missed a Ling or something, because he's making units. Point is, and that's I think that'd be enough. He might have to give up the 3rd base, and he's having trouble dealing with the Banshee. That might be the worst thing. Yeah, the Banshee's heavily distracted before the fighting begins. SCV's almost get a surround on the Queen. Big thank yous to Ms. Tings as well for that sub. Glad to have you on board for more. But while this attack commences, things are just getting messy. Yeah, this is really bad. Of course, I said, mineral line Spore Crawlers, but also a forward one. Just didn't expect the forward location to be right then and there, I guess. So that took I would honestly say, a lot of time where you get caught the tanks while they're moving on over here, but he still has enough, it looks like.
The 2 Banshees, well, actually, as they get uncloaked, start going down, transfuses are good. Ours pulled so much to kill this, it's not going to work.
Nah, I was totally all in.
Did he have a perfect defense and throw the game? Because I feel like that's what just happened.
I don't know, but that's the thing, though. It's hard to call it a perfect defense. A perfect defense is usually something that lives, right? Like, good job, you lived. But then there's always that over-defense mechanic where, a bronze player saves himself against a Baneling bust, but then he built, 10 bunkers to do it. That's probably not going to be great for the macro game. And I feel like that's what happened there. Ours just, committed so much to defensive units and structures. That it was gonna be a hard game for him.
Yeah. Well, folks, I gotta fix. Apparently, the scripts on the stream are broken right now. I don't know why that just broke. We'll fix it in a sec. We're gonna take a small commercial break while I look into it, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes for game number 3, as things are now tied up 1-1. Hey, folks, thanks for watching that break. Weird thing happened during said break. My status on the Battle.net became locked, and I'm wondering what that's about. So we're trying to restart and hope that fixes it. I do have a secondary account we could always fall back to if we need to, but it's just like WTF. I've never seen the message "your status has been locked" before. I've been straight up banned in the middle of streaming. You remember that one time? Good times. But I've never been status is locked before. So let's see.
I've been getting a lot of weird messages on Battle.net. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to see.
Yeah. Well, I joined. It just took a quick game restart, so it looks like it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been having quite the chat while you were gone.
Oh, I imagine. Map number 3 is gonna be on Defender's Landing as we wait for the chat to disappear to swap to the in-game scene. There we go. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us on the show so far today. Don't really have a lot of crazy shout-outs to do here other than just whoever subs, cheers, all that good stuff. But if you haven't, I would like to direct your attention quickly to below the stream. Make sure to check out the t-shirt. We are actually currently sitting at 49 shirts sold. Our goal is 50, of course, but I think it's like 23 through like NA and 28 through Europe or so. The point is it says 49 total is sold. So we're trying to get 50. If anyone has it in their hearts, or maybe you've just been waiting for payday, now's the time to do it. Let's push that goal. Let's see if we can hit 50 tonight. Of course, you can also type ! shirts in the chat if you need a link through there. Maybe on mobile. At any rate, you're watching the North by Northeast Gameland Invitational Wildcard Qualifiers. One player from today is going to qualify through to the main events. Get a paid trip to Toronto on June 16th to 18th, and of course have their hotel stay and accommodations covered as well. Lots of goodies come with winning this qualifier. In the top right, we do have the pink Zerg player, Slayer's Boner.
In the bottom left is the yellow Terran. He is ours.
So, as Fractal Cactal has this mental breakdown, not understanding that we certainly appreciate him, and that he's not just a random weirdo. Although we are all random weirdos to somebody. Did you see my tweet I made last night about the guy I met?
I did.
It's really cool. If you guys didn't see it or hear about it, I was just walking down the street and I passed by this guy. And I noticed things about people, right? So I noticed he got a cigarette and a lighter in his hand. I'm like, oh, this guy's probably gonna like ask me to bum a cigarette or a lighter or something. Because he comes back and then I'm like, wait a minute, he had a cigarette and a lighter. Why would he be asking me for either? So I take my headphones off and he's like, excuse me, but are you Rifkin? I'm like, oh, like I didn't actually go oh in real life, but internally I'm like, it's happening. Internal screaming intensifies. It's really cool. I hope more of those instances happen. Turns out too, I was on the IRL stream building the chair the other day too, and we did the background check on this guy. We went full stonker mode together. It's Roaches. It's the same build, by the way, guys, if that's not clear. But this guy, who is a friend of my roommate, said, yo, wait, you know Rifkin in real life? I've been watching Base Trade forever. So after the stream was done, I go look at Deepbot. Dude's been watching us since 2015. No, excuse me, 2014. I'm like, holy crap.
So there's a chance he's watching right now.
It is.
I'm hearing that you went full stalker mode on him.
I don't mind. He now understands how much we appreciate seeing that number. Like, anytime we have a lot of people. Oh yeah, we watch you forever. Well, look at the information. Like, they've been watching for 2 months. Like, oh, I've been watching BaseTradeTV for 4 years, and I'm so complaining. Blah blah. You've been watching for 2 weeks. Like, we can see that information in the logs. So it's really cool when you get like somebody who says they're a fan, says they've been watching for a while, and yeah, they've actually been watching for a while.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm on a nerd high right now.
Well, you should be. It's an awesome experience. Someone recognized my alt account, which is the reverse of what I want happening.
Don't find out your alt account. But speaking of being on a high, Caliber's getting some high ground vision, so thanks to this Overlord, he'll be able to assault the top of this ramp. But the bunker's down, a Cyclone's on the way, and there should be another decent defense for Awers.
This should be much better.
I was giving up the depots real quick.
Yeah, you lose the depots, but I honestly think that's something you can't even really help. I think maybe you can save one if you want to repair it and wait for the Cyclone. But then you're playing with fire. Just give out the depots, but get the Cyclones. Of course, accommodate for the depots, which is something he did last game, but not this game. Whoopsie.
Yeah, he's a bit supply blocked. He'll have to drop supply if he really wants to get unblocked from this. But the medevac is building, so he's not super supply blocked to the point of like losing the game. What's interesting though is I think his intention was to pair up that second cyclone, pick them both up, and either chase down the Ravagers in the middle of the map with said medevac, or just take 2 cyclones across. Right now, he's going to have to use 4 Marines and a cyclone to drop, and if he does, that leaves him defenseless.
See, he's going to repair that cyclone in the medevac.
Fun fact, guys. If you auto-repair, that can happen,
okay,
but
well,
now
what if
he
it dies?
has 3 SCVs and no cyclone. Feels bad. He had to free up supplies, Zombie Grub.
I just feel it's so sad. He has 3 SCVs and no cyclone.
I hope he realizes he's got 3 SCVs in there, actually. That's a bit of a problem.
I feel like you would. He's like, these are Marines. This is going to be great. Oh, wait a second.
But yeah, so what Zombie Grub was alluding to is an actual thing a lot of folks don't know about. This is like one of those beastie cutie tips and tricks video like type thing. But if you have an SCV on auto repair inside a medevac with a damaged mech unit, it will repair it inside the medevac.
I have 2 tips and tricks video. I literally did this video last week. That's my thing.
Well, advertise it better. I've only seen beasties. I didn't even know you
It
made
was on
those.
Reddit.
I'm just saying, if it's on Reddit but your partner doesn't know about it, you're not advertising it very well.
Tweet about it and it's on Reddit. Should I link you what I do now? I'm just kidding
if you want me to give you like a retweet and help you advertise it, sure. I don't see where the harm in that is either.
There's not. I was just kidding anyways. I know that BCPD does really good tips and tricks.
Well, regardless of whom you're referencing here, the point is cool stuff happens in StarCraft that people don't know about. This medevac... Oh! 6 health. Gets out of there barely alive. Not quite innovation levels of escapery, but 6 health is still 6 health.
Yeah, I don't think there's been much innovation levels. Unfortunately, losing that first cyclone was a big bummer, and then almost with that medevac is better than losing it, but still stops it from ever harassing again. And Caliber now has a large army. He's not going for the extreme macro like he was last game. He's going for a push, which I don't think ours can actually hold up against.
It's a push that's being paired with queens, too, and I agree. The thing that's interesting, though, is because all the queens are pulled, there's not a lot home to deal with said Liberator. Sport Call in the right position can make sure this doesn't get too out of hand. There you go. But that being said, I agree. Like, there's not... He'll tear down these rocks. It won't take very long. There's no tank to fire over them, and it's only double Cyclone production. Cyclones are great against a lot of things, except for non-armored units. And that's Queens, that's Lings, and that's more importantly, Ravagers.
Yeah. Doesn't have to break down the wall. But in doing so, we'll buy ours maybe another round of Cyclones. Okay, he's gonna the other way.
Well,
as I said, I don't think he needs the Queens.
They're like mobile battery packs.
Yeah. Safer with the Queens,
Oh,
but they're gonna take a long time getting over here.
I wish there's like a real life way to transfuse instead of having to plug a cord in and wait hours and minutes. This is not going to go well. Cyclones are picked up at the last second, but this medevac is very, very low, so it's so dangerous to put anything inside of it. SCV's pulled to repair, but that Cyclone goes down, dodges the shots once again. There's not a lot left for Boner here, but there's also not a lot left for ours. In fact, there's almost nothing left for him. 2 Cyclones about to pop is going to be the majority of his army. They're going to be pounced upon immediately, so this game is looking like it's going to go in the favor of our American Zerg. Ooh. So they were arguing about BM earlier.
They were.
We don't technically have rules regarding BM, so this is just a matter of, I guess, self-worth.
I'm sorry. It's too good of BM not to explain at least one part of it. One part of it was that ours said that Slayer's Caliber wouldn't win another game after the first game. So, I got no beef in this little drama thing they got going on here, but it's always nice to see the stuff go down. Anyways. Caliber moves on. Yeah,
congratulations. And we'll probably end up following him to fight against Drunken Boys. I believe Jon Snow and Jason may have already started. Yeah, they're in game. That would have been another hopeful one to look at. You have Volts in the middle of the bracket advancing on over Silky. But Silky, it was a 1-0, so maybe a no-show? I don't know. But it's worth noting that if you guys are fans of ours, or aka Hades, or whatever his name is, he is going to be playing in the losers bracket. This is double elimination. And for the sake of those who don't understand how this works, it's double elimination all the way to the end, including the finals. So, for example, the winner's bracket contender will have a second best of 3 to fall back to. It's not a best of 5 where you are 1 in the series. It is straight up possibly 2 best of 3s. Serenity TX is okay. Base Trade TV. I just ordered a T-shirt, but I'm gonna send it to you guys to sign and use as a giveaway. Dude, we'll do plenty of those on our own. Don't worry about that. Just enjoy the shirt, man. If you do have it, bring it to an event that we're going to. Get it signed there. I think that's the best way to go about it.
It's true.
All right.
All right,
Well,
what are we gonna do next?
I think we have to follow Caliber. It's the only match that's going to be really smooth and available. The other ones have started.
Yeah.
All right, so it'll be probably then, yeah. Caliber versus Drunken Boy. So North American Terran versus North American Zerg. North America Power. We're going to go to a small commercial break, though, in the meantime. And we'll be back soon. Thank you guys for watching. More games when we return.